We just received a massive Eagles trade update for the Philadelphia Eagles as an NFL insider has linked a popular trade target to the Birds to help bolster their defense to help with their funk in this two-game skid. We'll break down all of this and more on another edition of Eagles Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are getting ready for their Week 7 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, and they're in desperate need of some defensive help. But before we get right into that video, if you guys are not a part of the 1.8% who are subscribed to this channel, if you're part of the 98.2% who aren't subscribed, you guys better hit that subscribe button, comment down below, join this great group of Philadelphia Eagles fans. We'll have trade rumors, we'll have everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles, game recaps, everything under the sun surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. But getting right into this video is we had some breaking news out of Philadelphia and out of the NFL talking about Trey Hendrickson. And this was interesting to see regarding the defensive end out of Cincinnati. And I wanted to share this with you guys in regards to the NFL insider Tony Pauline. He reported this saying the Philadelphia Eagles are another team expected to make a bid for Hendrickson. They are one of the worst pass rushing teams in the league, as free agent signings Azeez Ojulari as well as Joshua Uche have offered little to no impact this season. And this was definitely something that was expected from the Philadelphia Eagles. Definitely knew that Trey Hendrickson was on the radar for the Philadelphia Eagles and someone who just brings a lot of experience and a lot of production to the city of brotherly love. Looking at his stats so far in his career, you look at it, 17 and a half sacks in 2024 and 2023. So that is so much production from a guy who is really just trying to get a contract and make a legacy in the NFL. And we've seen it over his career. 2017 all the way to 2025, he has been one of the most consistent pass rushers in the NFL. You saw in 2021, he came over to the Cincinnati Bengals, 14 sacks that helped the Cincinnati Bengals go to the Super Bowl and against the Los Angeles Rams for Super Bowl 56. And since then, he has been consistent. When he went in 2022, had a little bit low in production, but 8 sacks is still really good. And then he just turned it up from there. 2023 to 2024, he had 17 and a half sacks both of those years. So really just able to do a lot, on the defensive side. And, when you're looking at what he's been able to do with the sack numbers as well as the forced fumbles, he had 3 forced fumbles in 2021 and through 2023, and then had 2 forced fumbles in 2024. And just a little bit more on his stats in 2025. He's played 6 games, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumbles, 3 tackles for loss, 10 solo tackles, and 8 QB hits. And he has just been one of the most consistent guys in the NFL, and he really deserves to be on a team that is able to produce. And I definitely think that, before we get into everything surrounding the mock trade that I made on an episode earlier this week, I wanted to just break down what Trey Hendrickson would mean for the Philadelphia Eagles. I definitely think he is someone who the Eagles can bring into this locker room and just rejuvenate them on defense. We know that Zadarius Smith, he retired and he is no longer on the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost Josh Sweat and Milton Williams in free agency, and they also lost Brandon Graham to retirement. So you don't really have a leader on the defensive side. I mentioned that over and over and over again about possibly adding CJ Gardner-Johnson to this Eagles team, but adding Trey Hendrickson in the way of a trade, you know that he has that production. You know that he can come in here and really produce and just really lead these guys to hope to just get out of their funk, with the whole team. He can just come over to this team and lead by example and really just be a voice that this Eagles team really needs. And knowing that he's going to go to the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, that has a nice ring to it. No pun intended, a nice ring to the 2025 season. Just a little bit more on Trey Hendrickson, and the mock trade that I gave up here was the Eagles get Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals received the 2026 second round pick and a 2026 fifth round pick. Now, you may think for a guy who is 31 years old and is only here for pretty much half a year because he only has a 1-year contract, that might seem like a lot. Yes, it does seem like a lot when you're looking at a second and a fifth round pick, but you got to think of the production that Hendrickson would be able to provide to this Eagles team just in this half year. And there is there's no guarantee that he's just going to walk in free agency. There's a chance that Howie is able to get a deal done to get Trey Hendrickson back with this Philadelphia Eagles team. And if not, then the Eagles are just going to take advantage of the production that he does in the latter half of the season and into the eventual playoffs. So you got to think short term right now if you're Howie Roseman and this Eagles team, because you only have a Super Bowl window for just, a couple more years, because the contracts are going to hit with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith. You can only kick the can down the road as much as possible. So these contracts are going to start hitting the cap, and then the Eagles are going to have to, not spend as much in free agency. You already seen it in this offseason with getting guys on 1-year deals, 1-year prove-it deals. So with Trey Hendrickson, definitely think that this is a big possibility, a big swing. Howie Roseman can get this guy in here and take advantage of this Super Bowl window. And, just looking at a guy like Vic Fangio and what he has been able to produce and really give guys the chances on the edge, in linebacker, and in the safety or in the secondary. We're seeing that guys have had career years when they went to the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean really break out last year. We saw Zach Bond become a special teamer to an all-pro linebacker. And Trey Hendrickson has already established himself as a top defensive player in the NFL. Now going to with a guy like Vic Fangio, I think that is something that Vic Fangio would sign up every single day, knowing that he has been around the league for a while and knows what it takes to win, knows what it takes to win in the playoffs, and what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. So getting that leadership, getting that guy to really provide a lot of spark and a lot of energy to this Eagles team. And, just looking at what Trey Hendrickson can do to this Eagles team and just what he can bring in terms of production. This was from USA Today. Nick Brinkerhoff at USA Today reported this, saying the Eagles have tallied just 9 sacks through 6 weeks, ranking in the bottom third of the league. A Hendrickson trade goes a long way in solving those concerns and uplifting a defense in need of some pass rushing ability. Philly's offense eventually needs to pick it up, but restoring some of their identity on the other side of the ball can't hurt. And that's definitely something that the Eagles are just trying to do. They're trying to get guys on the defensive side that they have really big holes right now, and getting those guys via trade, that can help them out later in the season, knowing that they have that depth. They don't have that glaring hole that other teams are going to pick apart. So having a guy like a Trey Hendrickson, having a guy like a Denzel Ward at cornerback, you have the Super Bowl window right now. Take advantage of it. Get these guys in the building. And looking at the defense for the Eagles right now, just wanted to show you guys the depth chart. You're looking at it, and it looks very thin. You see that Nolan Smith is on the IR right now. He won't return until after the bye week, after the trade deadline. So when you're looking at it, Moro Ojoma, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter in the defensive tackles, I trust that they're able to get production there. But when you look at the edge rushers, Azeez Ojulari, Jalix Hunt hasn't raised his game this season. But if you plug and play Trey Hendrickson, he is going to change the way people are going to scheme against the Eagles defense, knowing that he can get to the quarterback and have an instant impact on this Eagles defense. That will help out guys like Jalix Hunt, like Joshua Uche, like Nolan Smith when he gets back. Having a true alpha at that position is just going to be huge in the way of other offensive coordinators are trying to scheme against him. And then knowing that right now, Jahad Campbell is going to try some on the edge with Nakobe Dean being back at linebacker. So they're going to try just different things. Vic Fangio is good at throwing different things at offenses and try to have them adjust quickly. And I definitely think that Jahad Campbell going on the edge is going to be something that's very interesting to see. But getting a guy like Trey Hendrickson in the next couple weeks, it can help out against those teams like the Packers, like the Lions, like the Cowboys, those teams that you win, you can have a really good shot at being the number one seed in the NFC and really be a powerhouse on defense. And I definitely think that Trey Hendrickson is a good fit for this Eagles team because they're in really dire need of a leader on defense, and he has everything. He has the resume, he has the production, he has the just the ability to be a leader on this defense. I want to know your thoughts surrounding Trey Hendrickson. What can he provide to this Philadelphia Eagles team? I want to know what you guys think regarding Hendrickson and how he can be an instant impact for this Philadelphia Eagles team. But that is going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. Subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified of all these videos. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go Birds and fly, Eagles fly.